A few moments later.
Right. So they're doing color palettes based off the tone of the color, the hue, temperature, and saturation. Temperature and saturation kind of gets mixed up because I'm in my brain they're kind of like the same thing, but kind of not. So yeah. And here and because I'm still using gouache paint. Oh, and up here these were like the cooler version of these colors. Right. So down here is a cooler version of the top colors, which are quote unquote warm or of a certain temperature. So yeah. Here I was trying to see something. If I wanted to cool down a color, do I use gray or do I use cerulean or sky blue? And I realized that the willows, when I use either of them, isn't that much different, right? And then I use several of my blues here. And I'm trying to get some color variation but between the blues. And then you got this going on. I had blue, I had red, and let's see what was happening. So the gray was to cool it down, the red was to warm it up, and that's what we got, apparently. Then this is me experimenting with palettes. Um yeah, I kind of give up like halfway and was like, let me just put down colors just because. Right? And this is me trying to mix a brown, but then I realized at the end of it all, I didn't really need to mix the brown. I just needed to just use the brown or the burnt sienna that I was given in my color palette. So now whenever I am painting, I just use this for the brown skin or use this for the lighter skin color. Simple as that. Peach for the lighter skin, burnt sienna for the brown, and a much darker skin can use the burnt umber. And then there's this. So this was based off a drawing I did in 2023. This is the original. This is the one I first did. I used brush markers, these, to do this. I use a fine liner part of it to do these, and then I just did them back over in gouache over here. They're so more expressive, isn't it? So they're matching up. Right. This was supposed to be a 2-page spread, but I painted this behind the page that had the next side of this, and I didn't like it, so I cut it out, and then I use it to make this part that's obviously tape paste on, and then I drew my own version of the Starry Nights. Kind of messy, but it's fine. This was fun to do. Sometimes when you want to relieve stress, just use some abstract painting. I swatched my paints again for like the 500th time. I did over here. I had found some tubes of tempura paint. Found some tubes of tempura paints that I got a couple years ago, right? So I decided I want to use them, and I realized that while painting with them, that they dry here, so you can't reactivate them with water. But I realized that you could they would make for good for like doing textures like these. Well, this white part is charred, but they seem to be good for doing textures like these. And obviously I colored the page with some shimmer because why not? And because of that idea with the tempura, I did this. I didn't want to paint a person or a girl or whatever that for that matter, but I did anyways because I saw one of those Pinterest pictures where the girl, you see a face of a person, mostly a girl, and they have stickers on it, and I was like, oh, I could do something like that. So I drew a face, and then I put these all over the place. I use pencil crayons to like add shading or texture to the skin, whatnot. And I did one of these psychedelic paintings. I use acrylic markers here and shimmer. And the black part is made using fountain ink. And these fountain inks are washable, so hence why I had to use acrylic with it, and I had to put the shimmer on the acrylic because anyhow I made a mistake if I put it on the black part, then it would have washed away and that would be messy. And then we had this part most recently, and I used a red ink, a red version. Woo! I used a red version of this to do these patterns, designs, whatnot. And then we had this. Right, and then these, I found some Pinterest where somebody was like doing a what's in my bag type thing, and I did like, oh, let me do that. Even though they were doing it for their characters, so I decided I'm just gonna do this. So this is supposed to be a camera, lip balm, sweets, paper clip, right? And then there's this bag, paint stuff. This is supposed to be a water bottle, but it's also blue. This is a notebook. This is just design in the bag, paper clips, you know, stuff. And then there's also this bag, umbrella, notebook, pencil, and 3 highlighters, slash markers, whatnot. And then we're going in. And then I saw a prompt that says draw a door or something like that to a whimsical place, and I decided to try one of these things that I was seeing in sketchbooks where you cut open one page to use it as like a door type thing, but it's supposed to be a window, but a very big window that you can walk through, and there's a staircase leading up to the moon or to the stars, right? Yeah. And I painted the background. That wasn't necessary. Yeah, here we are. Shimmer, gouache, and some watercolor. Decided to mess this up. Anyways. Shimmer. And then there's this page. I did not like this page. I felt underwhelming compared to the other ones, even though some of the other ones were kind of ugly. But this just felt underwhelming. But it's fine. I painted this jellyfish like a couple years ago, and I had it, and I just cut it out from where it was. I just pasted it here because the color kind of matched with everything that's going on. These hearts were painted on a bigger piece, and I just cut out the heart shapes out of the painting. Yeah, this I used printer paper to draw this girl and then paste her here. I had these star butterflies for a couple years now, but I didn't use them, so I just used them here. And then this, I was considering painting in a shadow, but I was like, never mind. All right. Oh, and I used glitter glue, and I mixed it with the gouache paint to change the color, because the glitter glue is actually this color. Yeah, and so I just added it with either extra white or with blue to get the different colors that we see here. And I use shimmer on some of the hearts that's supposed to be in the hair. Actually, this whole entire drawing is actually based off a AI drawing that I took off Pinterest because I was like, I like it, and I would like to I like the colors of it, to be more specific, and I wanted to make something like that. However, when I show you the AI image, you realize I didn't really use any of the much of the colors from the AI image, right? So there is that. And then this, I saw this crochet thing on Pinterest that looks like this, and I just draw it, and yeah. Yes, the head is off-centered, I am aware. And I know that the head, because this part is bigger, the head actually is supposed to be tilting over yonder. But like, if I was to actually make a crochet thingamajig like this, I'm pretty sure it would look like this. So, it is what it is. So that is the end. I have another sketchbook. I have several to be exact, but it is what it is.